This video provides an overview of the latest Accounting Suite 26.5 release, highlighting key updates and improvements. For a more detailed description of each feature, along with the step-by-step instructions, please visit our website at AccountingSuite.io. Let's start with the purchase requisition document. The purchase requisition is an internal document used to request items or services and start the procurement process. Let us navigate to the purchases, the purchase requisitions, and have a look at a sample document. On the Items tab, users need to input the items that they need and the required quantities and select the supply method for each item. The supply methods available are purchase itself, the stock withdrawal, and the warehouse transfer. For each line item with the supply method equal to purchase, there is line canvassing details table available. Here, we input the quotes received from the possible vendors, specifying the quantity, the price, the delivery date, and other details. For those line items that have the supply method other than purchase, which is stock withdrawal or warehouse transfer, there is no canvassing details table because there is no purchase. On the Canvassing Sheet tab, the line items from the Items tab are grouped by the item, or they can be grouped by the vendor for those items that are purchased rather than transferred. And on the Additional tab, there are regular attributes like responsible person, project, and class. Important is that the purchase requisition document can be part of the approval workflow. Once the responsible person gets this purchase requisition document, they have the option to select which particular vendor for the line item with the supply method purchase will be selected. After ticking the vendor, user can generate the purchase documents from the purchase requisition, and the document will depend on the supply method. For the purchase, it will be a purchase order. For a stock withdrawal, this will be an inventory adjustment document. And for the warehouse transfer, this will be a warehouse transfer document. Let us generate the supply requisition documents. Here, the system lists all of the documents that can be generated, and users tick which of those to generate. Let us generate them all and see what will happen. Great. As per the supply method, the system has generated 3 documents, one for the purchase, the inventory adjustment for the stock withdrawal for the both stock withdrawals, and the warehouse transfer document for the warehouse transfer. Please refer to the user knowledge base where all of the features of this new purchase requisition document are described in much more detail. Another huge update is the period and closing tool. Previously, we have introduced 2 new documents, closing income and expenses and closing retained profit or loss. Just as a reminder, users may opt to perform the period and closing either in 2 steps, using the summary accounts, or in 1 step, transferring the balances directly to the retained earnings. These both documents help a lot by the period and closing, but they had to be posted manually. Now, the new tool under the accounting period closing brings together all of the documents, all of the transactions and actions that have to be made at the period end. Let us have a look at the settings, more actions, period, closing settings. The first period for closing defines the accounting period from which postings are allowed, and all time periods prior to this date will be considered closed and will not be affected by the wizard. The first month of the financial year is considered for financial reports generated for the current fiscal year. If we put here March and navigate to trial balance, then the system will take March as the beginning for the fiscal year only for the purpose of the report. Also, the month here is important for posting the depreciation. The frequency of the depreciation posting may be month, quarter, biannually, and annually. If we set here March, then for the purpose of depreciation, the system will consider March as the first month in year. So, for example, the quarterly depreciation will be calculated for March, April, and May. And then the second quarter will be considered June, July, and August. The general ledger accounts for income and expenses closing can be set here or in the accounting settings. Again, if business requires to use the summary accounts, then users set here the accounts other than the retained earnings, or if business requires to perform the period end closing with just one step by transferring the balances to the retained earnings directly, then users shall input the retained earnings account as income and expense summary account. The period closing operation frequency can be selected as month, quarter, year, or never. And for those operations that have to be performed more frequently than month, users may select the scheduled operations option. Now let us have a look at the tool itself. All necessary closing operations are consolidated here in a single workflow. And the first step in this workflow is the sequence control. Let me put here the fiscal year 2025 and run the wizard. The system offers the option to restore the transaction, meaning to repost them in the chronological order from the 1st of January to the 31st of December, or to ignore the sequence restoration. We would recommend to restore the transaction sequence to preserve the data integrity and to avoid any issues that may arise in connection to using the first in, first out costing method. Great. The period and closing is performed. What does this mean? It means at the first place, the transactions have been reposted in the chronological order, so the sequence has been restored. Then, the asset depreciation documents have been created and posted. We can navigate from here to the details and see those depreciation documents that have been posted. And we have to keep in mind that in AccountingSuite, the asset management module covers not only the fixed assets, but also the intangible assets, the prepaid expenses, and the expense recognition for the low-value items. All of them have been created and posted automatically with the period closing wizard. Then, the exchange differences documents, again, they have been created and posted automatically. And closing income and expenses and closing retained profit and loss documents have also been created and posted. And the last step here is to close the books. What is this? Under the admin panel in the accounting settings, we have a hyperlink closing the books, where users may opt to select the closing date either for the whole system or to specify the closing date per module. It helps to prevent any unintentional documents for the prior periods, specifically for the closed periods. So the period closing wizard here reminds us that to preserve the data integrity, we can set the closing date. Let us close it and set it as the 31st of December. Please discover this great tool that saves time and prevents users from creating the documents manually. Let us have a look at the approval workflow. The approval workflow itself is not new, but there are some new features. First, to meet the user's expectations, we have expanded the list that can be subject to approval workflow. Now, this list includes all of the documents, purchase, sales, financial, and tax accounting documents that are available in the system, including the new purchase requisition document. The other new feature in the approval workflow is that it has been combined with the reminder system. There are two ways to remind anyone that he has to review and approve the document. First option, under the admin panel, under the organizer menu, notes, reminders, surveys. If we tick the reminders option, then the user will get a notification in the system within the accounting suite. Under the admin panel, there is a quick menu, user reminder settings, where any user may opt where will he see the reminder, in a pop-up window or in the notification center. Let us start an approval workflow and see how it works. I'm starting an approval workflow for myself. I'm sending it to the admin user, and upon sending the document to the approval, there will be a notification as a pop-up window because the user settings are set to pop-up windows. So here is the notification, and the user will instantly know that he has to review the document. The other option to remind anyone about the outstanding approval workflows is an email. Under the admin panel in the organizer, we can tick the message templates option. They are designed to remind users about the approval workflows outside of the system, so they are suitable for those responsibles who do not enter the system daily and rather read their emails. First, we need a message template. The template design is quite straightforward and is very similar to the print form templates. On the right-hand side, there are some attributes that can be dragged and dropped to the message field. After saving the message template, this template has to be assigned to a certain approval setting. Let us open the purchase requisition approval settings and insert here the email notification template. Upon sending any purchase requisition, the responsible user, shall get an email notification. If the template is not specified here, then the system will send a standard message. We continue improving our AI capabilities. In addition to cloud AI providers, AccountingSuite supports locally deployed large language models through the OpenAI compatible provider. This demo base cannot demonstrate it, but if you follow the link, you will get a detailed description for this new feature. Now, regarding the tax accounting, there are 4 types of taxes available in AccountingSuite. This is the value-added tax, withholding tax, levy, and the excise, and each tax type has its own report. For the value-added tax, there is the value-added tax details report. For the withholding tax, a withholding tax details report, and there is a new other tax details report that combines transactions that involve excise or levy. The structure of the report is standard and similar to the other tax reports. Depending on the business needs, users can edit the structure by adding or removing the columns, and the report can be displayed in transaction currency, which means the document currency, providing subtotals for each currency, or in the default system currency. The levies and excises are mostly outgoing because they are charged upon sale, but if there is a purchase from a foreign vendor, then it may be the case that excise will be booked as an incoming value. We have added the ability to copy print forms across different document types, saving the time and effort. A single layout can be reused for invoices, delivery notes, and all of the other documents without rebuilding each form. In the print form templates list, select the available print form that you would like to copy, let it be a bill payment, journal voucher. Then click Copy and select the object where you would like to copy this template to. Let it be a bank transfer. Enter the name and save the print form copy. The new form is available. Now, there are default GL accounts available in the inventory taken and in the inventory adjustment document. Although the inventory taken document itself is not a financial document and does not make any postings, users can select default receipt and withdrawal accounts here. It can be useful for the inventory adjustment document that will be generated from this inventory taken. Let us check it. We generate the inventory adjustment and we see that for the withdrawal operations, the GL account has been used that is selected on the additional tab as the withdrawal account, and the same for the receipts operation. If the inventory adjustment is not generated from the inventory taken, then users can select the GL accounts on the same additional tab here. It means that there is no need to select the GL account for each added line item on the Items tab because the system will copy the GL account from the additional tab for the receipts and the withdrawal operations. This has been the overview for the major updates. Again, please visit the website for more detailed information and see you in the next release.